Hello and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant channel. My name is Kim and thank you for joining me today for another video. Today I am going to be talking about my 2024 goals for sewing, crochet and my small business. I will be going through some of the goals that I am tracking in my bullet journal, new bullet journal for 2024. So I haven't gone as crazy as I did last year with my goals, but I will still separate them into sewing goals, crochet goals and small business goals. So to start with my sewing goals, no pun intended. So as you can see behind me, my bookshelf is overflowing with fabric. The first goal I have is to only have fabric that fits on that shelf. So you can see at the bottom here that there is quite a lot of fabric that is sort of just hanging there, and there is more fabric over various parts of my space. Now the more fabric I have, the more I feel I have to use it, so it's that sort of pressured feeling. Not that I'm complaining at all. I love having a big stash. I can usually find what I want, the colours of cotton that I need, etc, etc. But my preference is to have a smaller stash and have space elsewhere for other things. The next one is to sew all of my fabric for America. So all of the fabric that I got from America I am planning on making videos from. I have quite a few clothing makes to complete. So this includes a blouse with some fabric I bought. I'm looking over there because that's where it is. I've got loads of dresses to make. I'm really excited to get started. I think I am going to aim for 7 handmade clothing articles. I feel as though this is achievable because last year I made 6. So to do one more will be achievable. Plus, last year I bundled them all into the end of the year, so I think I made a lot in sort of October, November time, whereas I hadn't really made anything in January, so if I pace myself it should be better. And I believe the last one for me is to start going through my clothing to be repaired pile. I have got loads and loads and loads of clothes in there. I've got dresses, I've got jeans, I've got trousers, I've got shirts, I've got loads. You name it, I've probably got it in there. But I haven't done any alterations or fixed anything for over a year. So really I need to get started on that, because there's lots of nice clothes in there that I can't wear because they're missing a button, or this doesn't lay flat, or they're just a little bit too long, or you know, whatever the reason is. So those are some simple goals that I've got for 2024, trying to keep it more simple, and I think more of my energy is going to be based on crochet this year, and you will see why shortly. So now on to my crochet goals. So you may or may not know that I use Notion to organise a lot of my crochet stuff. So I've got a page there where I have my whips, my patterns or planned projects, my patterns without yarn and yarn without patterns. So it's my hub to get everything together and see everything. I've got pictures of all of the yarn that I've got. It's a really, really helpful tool. Now I got this yarn hub template from Coley, so I will link her video below where she discusses all about it. I thought it would be nice to mention that obviously I do use Notion a lot. It is a paid for service, so there are other ones like Ravelry and different apps that you can use instead. But I thought that it was a good idea, and it's really, really helped me recently to sort of look at a glance at everything in my stash, see that I need to get rid of some, see what I love, see what I don't love as much, and have all my patterns in one place as well. So I will be doing a video tomorrow going through everything I've put on Notion everything that's there, how I organise everything, etc. So that I can just have a quick check-in before the end of the year. But I will explain a little bit more about my goals. So the first one is to keep Notion on track. So every time I use yarn or I buy new yarn, I need to add it to Notion, because as I said, if I don't add it, then it can be very difficult to keep in touch, and once it's a little bit inaccurate, it's really difficult to go back and find out where it went wrong. My second one is to finish all of my crochet whips. So at the moment I have 7 current whips. So I have a yellow jumper, I have a red jumper, I have a beige cardigan, I have a pair of socks. I've only got one sock at the moment, black and white. I have my Portugal shirt, which I've made. I need to frog it and remake it because it just went a bit wrong, very wrong, and I want to wear it because it's yarn that I got specifically on holiday. I've got a beach bag that is improvised, and lastly I've got my Christmas paper chains that I am still working on at the moment. So my plan is to have them all done. I don't necessarily have a deadline, but I would like them to be done definitely sort of by mid-year at least. I would like to reduce my stash by, or sort of get it down to 100. So on Notion I track all of the yarn I have. So if it's the same yarn, I put it down on sort of one card or under one profile, but I can pop in that I've got 6 balls, for example. On another one I can say that I've only got 1, or 50 grams, 25 grams, etc. So it's very key in organising everything. But at the moment I have 100 and nearly 80 separate entries for yarn. So that doesn't mean I've got 180 balls, it means that I've likely got more than that. So I need to condense that down, and I would like to get it down to 100. So every time I use a yarn, even if I've still got some of it left, it will still count as one card because I've got some left. So when I say get rid of the yarn, I mean either use it in projects, use it for projects to sell or personal projects, give it to family and friends, or donate it to charity. So not necessarily throw it in the bin unless there's an issue with it. But my plan is to finish those whips and start going through my stash. And in terms of my planned projects, I have 11 pairs of socks, 1 jumper, 2 blankets, 4 amigurumi projects, 1 coaster project, and a knitted hat. So that totals 20 projects that are planned. I am not too fussed if I don't get all of these done this year, although that would work really well. I think my focus this year is also on health and reading, which both obviously are quite physical. So I won't necessarily be able to sort of use my hands to crochet, or use my hand to crochet, whilst I'm doing exercise or whilst I'm reading a book. It would be quite difficult. So for me it's always been a balance in between hobbies that use my hands, sewing, crochet, reading, etc., painting, and trying to multitask as well. So I will be figuring that out, but there's not too much of a rush on sort of getting all of those projects done. Just to note, you will see that my plans aren't necessarily as long as they used to be, or that they were last year. That is because when I limit my plans, or when I make specific plans, although it really helps me achieve them, I find it quite stressful to try and get all of them done. And I focus so much on getting them done that I don't enjoy the process. So this year I'm going to, although I have got some goals, I'm going to try and keep the process fun so that I still enjoy crochet, I can do things that I want to, and I'm not as limited to the projects I do. In terms of yarn that I use, I will be keeping a log both in my journal, at the back here. So I've got a different key for what I use. So the first one is scrap yarn, second one is full skein, and the last one is a hand-dyed yarn. So I'll be making a note, I will be drawing each of the symbols here as and when I finish yarn, and I will have a key as well for the month. So for example, January could be blue, February could be purple, etc. So very, very simple, but hopefully it will work. So I'll be keeping a log on Notion and in my notebook as well. And when I come to do my YouTube podcast, I will also be mentioning how much yarn I use, if I've used any, how much I finished, so that I can keep track of everything throughout the year. And one that I have just thought about as a way of a crochet goal is to minimise the amount of magazines that I have. So I have so many crochet magazines, Crochet Now specifically, and I really need to get rid of some of them. Pattern books the same. Just limit the amount that I have in my stash, because if I have them and don't use them, what is the point in having them? There are so many hidden gems in the pages of the magazines that I have. I just don't get around to using them. At the moment they are in that cardboard box above my bookshelf where I cannot reach them. They are there for storage because the rest of my house is currently overflowing with yarn and fabric and various different things. Not that my partner minds it at all, but one of my plans is to halve the amount of magazines that I have and books. So I will need to count them. I will probably count them in the new year, and start going through them slowly and getting rid of some. By getting rid, I mean donating them to charity or selling them or giving them away, not throwing them away at all. The final lot of my goals is business goals. So again, I am just going to be referring to my book. So the first one is to finish the tote bags. So this stack here is specifically set aside to make tote bags with. I've got so much canvas type material and some really beautiful material that I've put aside to make tote bags with, and I just haven't been making them yet. So specifically I want to finish the tote bags with all of the fabric that I've got. I don't know specifically how many this will make, just because I don't know the exact sizes. I don't know what pattern I'm going to use for the tote bags yet, how big I'm going to make them, whether they're going to have pockets, etc. So that will come with time, and I will be sure to make a note of it. Next is to track my Etsy sales throughout the year. So I've got a little tracker in my book. So every month I'm going to write down the number of sales I've had. On that topic, I'm also going to write down the amount of subscribers I have and videos that I've released as well. There will be a correlation, obviously. It'll be interesting to see the numbers written down and to compare them. To keep track of the amount of products I make for Etsy. So I did start this at the beginning of the year, where I tried to keep count of everything that I'd made. However, throughout the year I lost it. So I have designed a little tracker. So this is so simple. You can't see it, but it's squared. So I've got a little key here. So a bag, a yarn sock, a stitch marker, and something else. So every time I make something, even if I batch sew like 100 or whatever, then I'm going to draw 100 bags in here. So it seems simple enough. Whether or not I stick to it throughout the year is another thing, but I'm quite excited to see at the end of the year how much I make. Another thing I'm going to do is to assign a colour per month so that I can see at a glance how productive I've been in each month. The next one is to do more collaborations. So I would love to do a collaboration with certain people. There are a few companies or people that I would love to make YouTube videos with, love to make products with, love to sort of build a relationship with. So that's something that I'm going to be going after this year, which will be really exciting. I've done a collab before with Kay of Lazy Sunday Yarns. She's since shut her shop, but she was a really good friend, and we did some videos together and we did collaborations together, so it'll be interesting to see what I can do with other people. Going back to the topic of bags, my goal is to make 100 plus bags or products this year. I feel as though this is quite achievable because I put a load of bags on this year. I also feel as though if I'd have tracked, I would have made close to 100 bags as well. I know that just in my drawers at the moment I've got probably about 100 that are waiting to be sewn as well, so if I batch sew those, I think that 100 will be crazy, but it will be achievable, definitely. Next is to release themed bags. So I've got some fabric specifically for Christmas and I've got some fabric specifically for Valentine's Day. So that's something that I definitely want to make sure that I do. Usually the idea comes to me too close to sort of the occasion, the week before, and I miss out. So this year, when I'm independent as a small business, I'm going to ensure that I've organised myself well enough to get all of that sorted. And the last one for YouTube is to upload 50 videos this year. So my plan is to release regular studio vlogs. Sorry for the dogs, they're not mine. So my plan is to release regular studio vlogs, podcasts, my USA videos and miscellaneous videos for everything that doesn't fit into the category. I haven't yet decided whether I am going to do a video every day in December, but I suppose I will see how I do the rest of the year as to whether I have enough content to film in December and sort of what my circumstances are, etc. But I found it very fun. So those are my business goals, my sewing goals and my crochet goals. So hopefully you have enjoyed me taking you through my Notion, very personal to me, and taking you through some of my goals. If you've made any crochet or sewing or small business goals this year, I would be really interested to read them below if you wanted to share. So leave them in a comment. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you have a lovely rest of the day, and until next time, take care. Bye.